when we think about M&A and what drives activity, I think confidence is really important. You have this funny phenomenon in the market where the times when people should be buying businesses, from an M&A perspective, aren't typically when they do, because confidence isn't at the level, that perhaps it needs to be for these transactions to take place. So M&A activity tends to happen, more late cycle. If we think about the market as a whole, typically valuations are a bit higher, but confidence has also increased along with that. And I think some of these boards, need to see other companies taking action in terms of M&A in order to go ahead and do the same. We've thought the backdrop for a while for M&A has been, pretty favourable in terms of, we've had kind of low interest rates. Also, covenant light debt has been a possibility for a lot of these companies, particularly offshore. So from that respect, you would have thought that perhaps M&A would happen sooner, but I think probably roughly 12 months ago, I think we started to see a real change in sentiment as far as M&A was concerned. And to the point about cheap debt, we also have private equity at the moment who have a ridiculous amount, billions and billions of dollars of uncalled capital that undoubtedly they'll want to put to work, at some time in the future. So our view is that, despite the fact the last 3 to 6 months in particular have been buoyant for M&A, we would think that will continue to be the case, absent a significant market shock or event that derails that in the short term. From an M&A perspective specifically for lithium companies, not yet, but I think you have seen strategic, kind of investments or, term sheets or collaborative agreements between some of these entities and some of these lithium players, both here and internationally. And I think that if you look at the terms that some of those deals were struck on, they were at share prices that, in some instances were 30, 40, 50% above, where those stocks trade currently. It probably makes sense, if that's a strategic investment, that some of those players would now be looking a lot harder at perhaps maybe trying to secure 100% of that supply via a takeover, as opposed to just a strategic interest.